Yeah, well, the fake hurricane stuff kind of came before the devastation. We're not
Oh,
talking about like people think that the photos are altered from the flooding or from the wind or anything like that. No, and I'm going to try to sort of tackle these events in chronological order here. But yeah, looking at this devastation, looking at the path of the hurricane and how just awful it was. Who could have predicted this? The Weather Channel.
yeah.
The Weather Channel could have predicted this, and one man really did not appreciate that. We got to talk about Cat Turd again, Tony.
Oh, Catcher's becoming like a regular here, not in a good way.
We haven't talked about Cat Turd in a while. I don't know. I love this little guy. Needed to get back to him, frankly. And so the first thing I have from Cat Turd, the first thing I saw was from September 26th, who said something is off about the reporting of this hurricane. And I was like, you know what, Cat Turd, you're so fucking right. You are so right. But I couldn't really tell what was off about it, you know? And so I like kind of waited for more information to come through via Cat Turd.
Yes.
And so we have a follow-up from Cat Turd, overhyped bullshit. Also on September 26th.
And you're sure this is about like the hurricane and not like Chapel Roan, right?
I think so.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think you're right. I think this is about the hurricane.
Are you calling Chapel Roan's music overhyped bullshit?
No, not at all. I'm
Okay.
saying Cat Turd would say that.
Okay.
I think that Chapel Roan made a fantastic pop album, and I appreciate it. And it's a fun thing to listen to with the kid on the way to school.
Got it. And our enemies probably would hate it because it's good.
Yeah,
And the enemies probably like they don't like good things. You
no,
know?
they hate good things.
They can't stomach it. If he tried to listen to it, it would probably like his head would explode like a malfunctioning robot.
Yeah,
No, Tony, this is not about Chapel Roan. It's still about the hurricane that at September 26th was predicted to be incredibly powerful and devastate the East Coast. But according to Cat Turd, it's overhyped bullshit. If you don't know, Cat Turd has like 2 million followers on Twitter.
Jesus.
And so the something is off about the reporting of this hurricane tweet. Got 55,000 likes and 9.5 million views. The one that says overhyped bullshit, that's 10,000 likes with almost a million views. And then he elaborates. Okay, so I agree. Cat Turd, something's off and it's overhyped. So now we're getting to like kind of what you're talking overhyped. Yeah, they're trying to scare us. They're hyping it up, but why and to what degree? And Cat Turd elaborates, just so you know, the Weather Channel for the past 14 hours had my area's radar with these dark red and yellow storms hitting all day with this tremendous power caused by the outer bands of the hurricane. But in reality, there was zero lightning, zero thunder, and almost no wind all day where I live. Just thought you might want to know.
I mean, seeing it is believing it. And if you're not seeing the red in your area that is on the map, then how do we believe it's true, you know?
It's clearly like a digitally altered image or something that they're showing to us because that's not what it looks like outside.
No.
Yeah, I love it. But in reality, there was zero lighting, zero thunder, and almost no wind all day where I live. The one thing that he doesn't mention is rain because he got 20 inches of rain on his property where it was flooded. But zero lightning and zero thunder, which is crazy. You'd think you could have one or the other, but neither.
No.
Whoa,
Neither. Crazy. I wonder if that dark red and yellow means just rain.
I don't know. I'm not gonna like try to figure out what the actual facts that the Weather Channel was reporting through the lens of Cat Turd. I think that way lies chaos. That way lies danger.
Yeah.
And then finally he says it's all a joke. It's all just a sick joke. Like I'm picturing the comedian like breaking into my house, but it's Cat Turd. Cat Turd breaking into my house in the middle of the night, and I wake up to see him drunk and sobbing. You know, he's got all his military gear still on.
Uh-huh.
It's It's all just
all a joke.
big goddamn joke.
It's all
And
just a joke.
you're like, what? And he's like, the Weather Channel. You're like,
I
oh,
like
fuck,
how-
I know. I understand why you're crying now. Me too, bro.
I mean, it is a joke. Like, who even watches that? How is it still on TV? You know, I don't understand. Like, this must be some sort of joke. The only way they're going to do this is by, you know, feeding us lies. I like what's the worst case scenario about somebody overhyping like a storm? Maybe like people being overly prepared, which is like probably not the worst thing, right?
Yeah, I mean this next example, because he's quoting Sean when he says it's all a joke, and Sean Farash, who's part of some, I don't know, right wing organization. He's like a podcaster or something like that. I think his name is like Captain Deplorable or some shit like that. But you know, he's got hundreds of thousands of followers on here. And this tweet said, "I just saw the Weather Channel's coverage of the eye wall as it came into Perry, Florida. Not even gusts were above 100 miles per hour where their field reporter was."
What?
And then Chuck, we got a lot of stuff to get to. And then Chuck Colesto says, "Do you have power?" to Cat Turd. And Cat Turd says, "Of course. Nothing is happening here like they're reporting. They're lying. They're lying to us, Tony, about the hurricane." And then more from Sean. "Shame on the Weather Channel and Jim Cantore. Honestly, they're not capturing any real-time footage of 140 mile an hour plus winds." And Cantore had the nerve to say, since the county where it came ashore is sparsely populated, those winds could exist and they're just not being recorded. This sounds just like lies to me. And the more like data a scientist or reporter gives me, I'm like, well, that's obviously a lie. These are lies. This is a web you're spinning. Reality
you wouldn't give me
is
so much data if you weren't trying so hard to support an argument. Why are you giving me so much data?
Yeah. Oh, and all this data somehow fits your narrative. Very interesting.
Convenient.
Reality is those winds are measured miles above the surface. So this is like the truther aspect, is they were measuring the winds too high to make them seem more extreme, because the winds are always going to be, because they're like jet stream up there. It's always going crazy up there. You know what I mean? Like, you don't spit in my face and tell me it's a hurricane is what I'm saying. You know, and then, but here's what they're worried about. All this does is make people take the next one less seriously, even if it turns out to be a bigger threat. So that's the worry. That's the worry that all these right-wing accounts are spinning up doubt about the hurricane that just hit landfall, you know, prior to it hitting landfall. But they're spinning these doubts because they're, quote, worried that when the next one is bad, people won't take it seriously. So I'm going to preemptively not take this one seriously in the hopes that, whoa, we'll be taken aback and we'll be surprised. And now maybe the next time we'll know to take it seriously. So good. Actually, kudos. I like them speeding up the process, frankly. And then just like a speed run of this from Ben, this is shared by Ben into the Facebook group. But Todd Starnes was caught tweeting, "The Weather Channel has to fuel the fake narrative about, quote, climate change by making every storm the most apocalyptic and catastrophic in the history of the earth." Very next tweet: "Urgent flash flood emergency for the Lake Lure Dam. Dam failure imminent. Residents below the dam need to evacuate to higher ground immediately." Which is not funny that a dam burst in, I think this is probably the Tennessee dam that burst. But it's just like, how do you not kill yourself after doing, like, honestly, like,
how do you not at least delete the first tweet?
I mean, it's there, you know, it's there either way. People probably got screenshots of it because you're like telling people that the upcoming weather event is fake right before it's about to lay waste to almost an entire coast of people. So this is phase one of what we saw. This is everything before the actual hurricane hit landfall. Okay. And so I just wanted to touch base with Cat Turd and see how he was feeling once the hurricane actually hit. He says there went the 107 bridge, quote, tweeting a video of a Highway 107 bridge in Greenville collapsing, being taken out. He shares a video of an oncoming surge of water taking out people's homes and cars and says, "Good grief."
It's just so great because, like, first of all, don't say anything in the first place, right? When you don't say the thing where it's not going to be that serious, and then definitely shut your mouth when you were wrong. Like, but it's funny because the whole thing is like, it's all engagement. No one's gonna look back a day in my tweets to see how dumb I was yesterday. I could just say whatever I want right now. But it's like, just shut the fuck up.
So funny. I love good grief. Good grief.
Yeah.
And then this one's my favorite. He's sharing an entire U.S. bridge being taken out, just an entire highway being covered in water. I-40 just drenched. You can't even tell there was a road there. And Cat Turd says, water is the most destructive force. It's always the tidal surge or the rivers flooding that cause the most damage. Oh, for real? Oh, shit.
Is that so?
Wow. That's so true. I love that so much, dude. Me before Class 4 hurricane, putting a snorkel on the dog I didn't run over to make fun of the Weather Channel. Me after the Class 4 hurricane. Water is nature's most potent force. All who do not accept her dangerous beauty shall bow before her when the time comes.
I'm imagining Cat Turd like, I think this hurricane is not that big of a deal. And then flash forward, I think this hurricane's pretty catastrophic. I think it's pretty devastating.
What is that accent?
Yeah, it's like that dumb meme where like, usually at a restaurant, they're like, I don't think I like Chili's. And then like their face is covered in wing sauce. And they're like, I think I'm starting to like Chili's.
Like a kid is doing that?
Yeah, it's like they do like a kid voice.
Oh, no, I haven't heard that meme. I love just being like, damn, who knew water could be so devastating? It's so fucking funny. One thing I forgot to mention is one thing they were doing to dunk on the Weather Channel was nope, that's not right. They were creating their own, hold on, fuck. Fucking Christ. One thing they were doing to dunk on the Weather Channel is they were creating their own fake weather reporting to demonstrate how the Weather Channel is being like hyperbolic and, trying to push climate change, which is kind of the underlying argument here, is that the weather can't be real because climate change is fake,
Yeah.
Even though they've like spent a lot of time saying, well, weather events aren't connected to climate change. That's just one weather event. It's not, they've like abandoned even that. Now they're just like, if you mention a hurricane being bad, that's fake because it supports climate change. But yeah, this is a video from the Lectern guy who says climate change is real.
We're coming to you live now from Florida. The hurricane we've been waiting for, the storm of the century, is here. We waited 3 days. Get the kids out of school early. I'm not sure why, but they've been here. It's been a good time.
So he's got his kids spraying him with water, and there's like a leaf blower blowing at him. But then also the trees in the background are blowing pretty violently.
Actually blowing, yeah.
But I left the door open.
There's like wind everywhere. He's got his kids outside in the middle. I don't know where this guy's from. I'm assuming fucking Florida, because this is the Lectern guy, as in the guy who stole the house, whatever.
My God, that's
Nancy
what it
Pelosi's
is.
Podium. And I was like, wait, this guy is making TikToks? This guy's making videos? Why isn't he in a CIA black site? Right?
Yeah,
I was being led to believe that all these January 6 guys were being punished, were being whipped and kept in solitary confinement and stuff. But this guy is making Twitter videos debunking a Class 4 hurricane moments before it devastates several states around him.
Incredible. And like you said, like it is happening. Like the only thing that's they're really embellishing is the noise of the blower and the hose being sprayed on them. But yeah, it's the trees and stuff are getting whipped around behind them.
So fucking stupid. Just like you don't you've proved the hurricane exists by trying to make this fake video. I don't know what the fuck is happening in your brain. Like, I think maybe he was kept in solitary confinement, or he just like went insane from whatever cruel and unusual punishment the feds were levying against him. I I was like, how is this guy free? And I went and looked up his Wikipedia, and under the January 6th United States Capitol attack, it tells us that he only served 75 days in jail and like had a $5,000 fine for unlawful trespass. Like he got all his charges knocked down from like theft of government property, like violently in breaking and entering, like that got dropped, and the only one that was dropped was like knowingly entering a place you weren't supposed to be. But it's so fucking funny that this is like the height of the right-wing persecution complex is making fake videos in front of us, directing his children during a hurricane to make a video mocking God, mocking the weather.
All the while using a picture of him committing the crime he did as his profile picture.
And that's his display name. He's the lectern guy.
Jesus. That's incredible.
The entry is so funny on him on Wikipedia. Before the attack, Johnson shared on social media that he would be in Washington, D.C. On the way to the Capitol, he posted selfies on Facebook in an airport with other MAGA supporters. In a rally on the night of January 5th, a Washington Post videographer captured him shouting expletives and implying that he did not believe President Biden was legitimately elected. Following the rally, he posted a photo of himself on Facebook with the caption, "Riot!" On January 6, 2021, during the United States Capitol attack, Johnson was at the front of the riot, having sprinted from the Stop the Steal rally. Like, he didn't want to miss it. He's like, oh shit, it is happening. He just ran at a full speed rally at the White House after learning of the attack. He spent 35 minutes inside the Capitol, entering 3 highly sensitive areas of the Capitol, according to prosecutors, and was photographed jiggling the handle of Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi's office suite.
Awesome. I love, like, he can't even go be like, no, that was a peaceful protest, because he literally was quoting him. He was saying, no, this is a riot.
He found Pelosi's lectern near a spiral staircase and carried it to the Capitol Rotunda. In the Rotunda, he was photographed by a Getty Images photographer, Wynn McNamee, wearing a Trump-themed ski cap and holding the lectern in his right arm. A classic photo. You got to give him that.
Yeah.
Really a good photo.
Infamous photo.
He asked a woman to take pictures of him standing in front of the podium, then left the lectern in the middle of the room. He was then recorded telling the other rioters to use a bust of George Washington to break down the doors to the House chamber, as well as other encouragement.
I love that too. He's not even doing. He's like, hey, you know what you guys should do? Use his bust, knock that door down. That'd be badass, wouldn't it?
Somebody's got to be like cheering him on, you know? Like I just love, as well as other encouragement. I love that. Like, he's like, good job. You know, way to go, team. You know,
you're doing great.
110%. You know, I don't care what people say. You did a good job holding Ashley Babbitt up to that window. It's not your fault what happened afterwards.
Yeah. She needed a lift and you did that. Thank you.
In the hours following the riot and the publishing of the photograph, Johnson was nicknamed Podium Guy on the internet. He wrote on social media that he, quote, broke the internet, and that he was, quote, finally famous. So yeah, if you're wondering why a man like this would keep his kids outdoors in wherever he's from during a hurricane, it's because he's famous.
It's funny too, because like, brother, like you didn't even have the most famous picture that day. Like you did not break the internet that day.
No, you guys all together collectively broke the internet.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
But no, they can't do collectivism. You know, they got to be. They're too selfish.
But yeah, that was like the fun kind of joking phase of Hurricane Truthers. And now we're on kind of what I like to call the uh-oh phase.
Yep.
Where, yeah, cat turd. September 27th. So the next day, power has been out for a few hours. Weather is completely calm and was when the power went out, so not sure why. I noticed one oak tree in my back pasture is down, but it was a tree that was leaning really bad and splitting down the middle that I was going to have removed soon anyway. And the tweet cuts off here, but if you go to try and find out why the tree was already damaged, I think he like showed a photo of it or something. His excuse is, well, it wasn't that windy. Yeah, it blew down a giant fucking oak tree, but it wasn't that windy. And plus, the oak tree was already damaged from a previous hurricane. Not joking. Like, I'm not fucking, I don't know how these people live with themselves. I would fucking
wild.
die of embarrassment if I posted any of this.
I love how fast these age poorly. We usually need like a couple days beforehand, but this is like less than 24 hours.
Less than 24 hours from, do you have power? Of course. Nothing is happening here like they're reporting to. Well, power's been out for 12 hours.
Amazing. So fast. So fast.
Good morning, X. Power is still out. Guess I'm going to have to fire up the generator to make some coffee. Here's him from, I think this is like yesterday. This storm carried an unreal amount of rain. My entire front pasture was underwater yesterday. Had to be around 20 inches or so. But there was no lightning. I do need to reiterate, 0 lightning and 0 thunder. It was torrential downpours all day Thursday. Never had near that much rain in any hurricane I've been through over the years. Deadly flooding in many states now. Whoa, that's crazy, dude.
I hate laughing at this because it was devastating. A lot of people were affected by it, but I am laughing specifically at Cat Turd. Listen, like this is not going to be historic, an historic storm. This is just the worst rain I've experienced ever.
Right. So how do you think he's going to process that? How do you think he's going to process going from, well, they were faking how extreme the hurricane was to promote climate change, to promote, their anti-science or their sciencism, their religious sciencism, to now, wow, this was a really fucking powerful storm. It almost seems like a once in a lifetime storm is happening pretty frequently now. How do you think we're going to process that? Well, first you have to ask questions, Tony. And Cat Turd, this is again from like yesterday. Cat Turd asks, who would have ever thought that a hurricane hitting the Gulf Coast of Florida would damage the mountain areas of inland North Carolina the most?
Literally the Weather Channel.
He did who would have thought that a hurricane could be so damaging? Everybody thought that it was all fun and games. I've seen videos of the Florida guy headbanging in a hurricane. I thought they were fun. I thought it was like a party.
I thought it was sick. I thought hurricane season was over.
So who could have ever thought that a hurricane would be damaging to North Carolina? Jesus fucking who he did the thing he did. Who would have ever thought a whale could be so heavy? Dr. Clown PhD, one of my favorite accounts, replies, "It's climate change." Any typical Democrat response.
Why are you giving the Democrats so much credit right now?
No, it's not climate change that a hurricane fucked up states. That's like not what climate change. It's you guys are like denying even the hurricane, right?
Yeah.
Like Cat Turd is like, how did a hurricane that hit here damage this over here? Right? Like, oh, it's climate. That you know why Building 7 went down? Climate change is what the Democrats will tell you.
Yep.
That's like the degree of separation we're working with, I feel like. And then another response to this, who would have ever thought that a hurricane could be so powerful? Sean says, and in less than 24 hours, the number one issue for voters in the battleground state of North Carolina went from the economy and illegal immigration to disaster relief.
Really makes you think, whoa.
They did.
This seems nefarious.
The Biden administration did a hurricane to North Carolina so they would like them.
It's so funny, dude. It's like, listen, a hurricane would have to be pretty huge to not just mess up Florida, but to actually mess up the inland mountains. Like that would have to be a pretty huge hurricane. It's like, yeah, that is what it is.
Right. Giant fucking hurricane. Like, but you can't even talk about whether the hurricane was influenced by climate change because they don't even seems like they're not even acknowledging the existence of the hurricane.
Of the hurricane, yeah.
Like they think it's a fake hurricane or something. It was fake because it was too big, predicted to be too big. Then when it was too big, well, it's fake. It's still got to be fake because of how big it is, right?
Yeah. This is somehow bigger than they reported even. That's suspicious.
Because it's like it feels like partially the conspiracy theory is, well, the reporting on the severity of the hurricane was deliberately correct as to make me look bad. They did it on purpose. You know, they got the data on purpose to make me look bad. It's pretty fucked up.
And it sucks because they're not even saying like God dunked on you, like because that's what happened is God dunked on you. You know, they're like, no, something's up here. This is not right.
This is man-made, but it's not climate change. It's man-made hurricane change is what I'm calling it.
Listen, if destroying buildings is not voter interference, I don't know what is.
Oh, that's so true. Yeah. Yeah, that's a better, I think, conspiracy theory is that Biden targeted North Carolina for what having such a strong Republican gubernatorial candidate in Mark Robinson.
Yeah.
Like he
exactly.
knew that turnout would be so good in North Carolina because of the amazing performance Mark Robinson has put on that they had to do something.
It would be funny if like Mark Robinson, like of all the terrible things he does, he actually does have a really good like disaster relief plan. He's like, that's the one thing he's like really good. He's like a nerd about that. Like that disaster relief is like his trains, you know?
I sincerely can't believe. I think he would have Jews are controlling the weather theory to rival Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Yeah, absolutely.
Revisiting back to the lectern guy, this is after the hurricane has hit in like maybe more severely in other places, but the lectern guy posts a photo of like, you know, a fairly young tree, but still, you know, like a 7-foot tall tree or something like that, broken down from his yard. And he says, "We will rebuild." And this is supposed to be like a joke, right? That like, oh, you know, a little plant, well, a single plant got knocked over, you know, but we will survive. And Washington's Ghost, who's like a kind of a big right-wing account, says never forget. And then I clicked over to Washington Ghost's profile to see if he was still making fun of the hurricane on his actual account. And in fact, he's sharing a video of the widespread devastation in North Carolina and says, "I'm just trying to bring attention to how absolutely devastating the storm was since the government doesn't want to acknowledge it."
So now the government doesn't want to acknowledge how bad it was. Like, and it's so funny because clout engagement, it means nothing. It clearly means nothing. It's like, I'm going to go ahead and go along with this one, but I'm going to post this entirely opposite thing on the other direction.
It just like, honestly, like it always reminds me of the Simpsons bit where Grandpa Simpson like refuses to believe any actual doctor and demands there to be a quack in there. And then Nick Riviera comes in. He's like, "Oh, you've got, you know, bonitis," or whatever he says. And Grandpa Simpson is like, "Now we're talking."
That's the good stuff.
They're just like, it's just like, give me any conspiracy theory to believe that will like justify what I'm seeing on my phone at this particular moment. And it doesn't have to connect to a broader theory of the world or anything like that. It just has to justify this one post.
One moment. Yeah.
So I can get engagement or just so I can feel good about my politics.
Honestly, like the lectern guy is so lucky that people are actually dealing with like devastation and trying to rebuild their homes and create, you know, maintain shelter for their families, because he deserves to get his ass beat so bad.
Oh yeah. I mean, just for this profile alone.
Not even about today or the last couple days.
Epic George Washington with the pixelated shades and his name is Washington's Ghost. Are you fucking kidding me?
I wonder how he feels about them wanting to use the bus to break down the door.
You shouldn't be able to bring your lunch to work. Somebody should take your lunch from you.
Yeah. We need to bring back workplace bullying for this guy, please.
Yeah. And just similarly, like the right hand replies to this post making fun of the hurricane. And all they did was blow down this little tree. Right hand replies, quote, "Florida strong," quote, "We're all in this together," quote, "Build back better," blah, 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 NPC talking points.
Jesus.
And then again, because it's so fascinating to me to see all these right-wing people making fun of a hurricane that killed so many people and destroyed so many fucking areas, like just blatantly in front of everybody, you know, broad daylight, just going so insane. You're mocking an emergency, like a literal disaster. So the right hand was like making fun of Florida strong or whatever. And then I went to his profile, and he retweeted Jack Posobiec complaining to Taylor Swift that that Kamala Harris didn't go to Tennessee for the flooding that just happened.
That's like multiple states wide. Like, yeah. That would be fucked up if she did just show up just to help out where Taylor Swift's from, and that's it.
That would be so fucking funny. I just love like complaining about NPCs like wanting to work together to help the devastation in their state or whatever. Going from that to then complaining about Taylor Swift not helping, just like, man, incredibly pathetic stuff and just bizarre in general. We got to move on from this topic, but just like utterly bewildered. Like the right is dementing at a incredibly rapid pace.
It sucks too, because like, you know, the Florida Strong, those that build back better, those type of like sentiments are things that people do say that can be a little bit corny, but they're said after moments of something bad happening, and it's done to like build like solidarity and community. And they're like, these are NPC talking points.
You're just a misanthrope. I'm sorry, like you're a misanthrope going like, you know, love is only just a chemical reaction in the brain.
And
like,
you know
shut the fuck up, dude. We all went to a 1 year of community college, right?
And it's like, and you know that fool owns a shirt that says "somewhere strong" for some tragedy.
Yeah, and I don't know if you're concentrating on the slogan is corny and not like the actual damage or the work that needs to be done. You're just you're a weirdo.
Yeah, you're a fucking weirdo. You're a huge loser.